Pledge of allegiance to the king.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, and welcome to our March 18th, 2025 City of Depoe Day Council meeting. Would you call the roll, please?
Watson. Here. Harmon.
Here.
Reck. Here. Sovereign. Here. Short. Here. Olin. Here. And Beasley.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Okay, thank you, Kim. We have a consent agenda, and it came to us in two different little packets here. Has everyone had a chance to review that? Is there a motion to accept the packet, the agenda as presented?
I'll make a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
It's been moved to second to accept the consent agenda as presented. Is there discussion on the motion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Did you even say aye then? Okay.
Mayor Short, before we move on, please, counselors, pull your mics close to you. We had a couple people at the last meeting on Zoom said they could not hear some people they heard just fine. Others they did not, so please make sure that you speak in front of your mic. And for those of you that have these special ones, you should have the green on the base.
They're on. They look
Are
like
they all on?
everybody's
Okay.
on. Yep.
Thank you.
Why not?
You're not.
Well, talk loud.
Talk loud.
Okay, we got the plan of action here. We have the Lincoln County School Board District. Do we have this? It's gonna be presented tonight?
I'm gonna bring it together, Chair.
Sure.
My name is Liz Martin, and I currently serve on the Lincoln County School Board of Directors and Vice Chair, and I held that, been on the board for 15 years. So, I'd like to introduce Dr. Miley Stolen. She was our superintendent at
I
schools.
know, welcome. Nice to have you here.
We really appreciate your time tonight and take a few minutes to talk about our upcoming bond.
Yes.
Yeah, we won't take very much of your time. I know you have a lot. Appreciate you having us here tonight. We just wanted to let everybody know that starting in February of 2024, the Lincoln County School District began to explore the need to go out for a school bond in the May of 2025 election. That was a year of information gathering, and then in February of 2025, the board did vote to go out for a school bond, so we'll just kind of run through that. The idea of this bond is it's going to be a renewal bond from the 2011 bond that is set to expire. So the board had a couple of goals, and one of those was that they wanted to explore a bond option that would not cause a tax increase from the get-go. And so this bond is a renewal bond, is set to be a $73 million bond. But the expectance is that it does not have an increase to the current tax rate that we have in Lincoln County. As they're looking at what we want to see, we had major areas of focus through a year-long, long-term facility study that was done with staff and community. And we really want to make sure that we have buildings that are accessible to all of our students, that they're warm, that they're safe, and that they're dry. And by dry, we have 11 roofs in the district. With coastal wear and tear, need to have improvements made. So that's one of the main areas that we have for dry. The average age of the buildings in Lincoln County is 51 years old. So TAF 712 is one of our newer buildings up at the high school. But then when you look at Taft Elementary School, that would be one of our oldest schools in the school district. Originally, the conversation had been to look at going out for a new school, especially for North area, but it's not feasible. And with declining enrollment, it also isn't necessary, but the upkeep and the safety and security of the buildings is still necessary across Lincoln County. So we're looking at repairs and updates. We're looking at safety, health, and security. Some of that is making sure that we have adequate security cameras across the entire district, and also implementing lockdown systems. We currently have a lockdown system that we piloted with a grant at Sam Case Elementary School that Newport Police Department is part of. And a lockdown system is much like a fire alarm system where anybody who sees the need to pull a fire alarm, even our children are trained how to pull a fire alarm and access that. It's the same as a lockdown system. So that's one of the new additions that we want to have. We're really looking strongly at continuing to build on the career and technical education aspects across the district, as well as enhancing performing arts. Currently, we have theaters up at TAF 712 has an individual theater space, and then it also has a cafeteria theater space that has gone through a lot of upgrades and would continue to. But in Waldport, in Newport, and in Toledo, they do not have any performance space for students. And so that's one aspect that we put in that we wanted to be able to feature. Some key things, we have 6 really main key things. Is the goal is maintaining the existing tax rate. If the bond is passed, 100% of the funds are spent on Lincoln County schools. Oregon doesn't have a bond feature where the money gets shipped off to Salem or to anybody else. It stays here, and we would have a committee, much like our long-term facility committee, that's watching how that spending is going, really to make sure that we stay true to the tax motion that we put forward, that we're spending it on exactly what it is that we said we would spend the money on. We did apply for and qualify for a $6 million match from the state of Oregon. So if this bond passes, we would get $73 million from the bond, but then we qualified for an automatic $6 million from the state of Oregon to add to that, which we were really, really excited about. As far as the career and technical education spaces in North County that I just want to hit on, we've done a lot in Lincoln City to bring back career and technical education. If you've been up to TAF 712, you can see they have a very robust forestry lab that's up there now with a natural resources program of study that's working with Parks and Rec, and then also with some mitigation factors just with the amount of space that we have and wetland space that we have on that property. But we're looking at adding wood shop back to a component of that, as well as expanding the career and technical education and making an entire wing that would be a pretty major remodel. Ashley Fresky's here, she's assistant principal at Ocean Lake. She can attest to how currently indoor recess means figuring out where we're going to put people when it comes down to PE, because we don't have inside recess spaces. North County does not have any play sheds, so it's automatic indoor recess when it's raining. So one of the features of this bond is to put play sheds and play structures at Taft Elementary and Ocean Lake Elementary, so they could have outdoor recess as well as turf their playgrounds. We have some of our elementary schools do have turf playgrounds now, and they can almost always have outside recess just with the schedule change. So we really want to focus on getting our students outside as much as possible. Putting in a new music room at Taft Elementary School. That elementary school is really pieced together, and currently it's a portable that's attached to the building. And so at Taft Elementary, all 6th graders are required to take band for 1 year. And right now we have to shuffle them off between different spaces. So we want to be able to have a music room for them in particular. And then also making sure our classrooms are equipped with appropriate technology to prepare our students for the future. And so really being mindful and looking at what our students need to be successful, as well as our staff.
Well, yeah, I do, like, because some of you might know that I actually went to school in this building right here. And so yeah, we took good care of this building, right? It's still functioning. And I look at this bond as, like I said, I worked in the last bond, and we followed very true to what we said we were going to do. We built all of the projects. We hired local contractors. We were a local stimulus to the county by hiring local contractors. And so what the economic benefit to this county is huge to have that kind of money put into the economy. And again, just doing what we said that we were gonna do in a great fashion. But I look at it as being a homeowner and putting a new roof and painting your house. You don't wanna put it off till the roof's leaking and the paint's chipping off. And we want to have schools that our students and community are proud of, how they look. We want schools that our kids can go in and get the best in learning technology. And so with bringing this on to the communities, I feel really good, especially about not having a tax increase. This would just be a roll forward. So I really appreciate your support in any way that you can for us, and certainly would be welcome to any questions that you might have.
You got a lot to do.
Yeah.
Is 73 million plus 6 million gonna be enough?
No, it's not. But we, like I said, we have community input and input from the staff and prioritize what we thought we could do. And we have a robust staff right now in the maintenance department doing what they can, but the people, if you're new to this area, maybe not realize how big this is. Our school district is huge. And so
You
the
go
main-
down to your house and.
yeah, then, our head of maintenance gave me an interesting fact. He said if I just had 5 guys painting all of our schools, it would take 2.5 years to paint all the inside. So I mean, just think about that. So as much upkeep as we're trying to do right now, it's not enough. We need to be able to get the money to get it done.
We hired an external company to help with the long-term facility study, so it wasn't just us looking at it, because we are proud of the work that we do in Lincoln County with our facilities. And they told us that it was difficult to work with us because we do have a very robust facilities department that is continuing on 1, 5, and 10-year plans. And so they were still working while they were trying to do a facility study, and they would tell us this needs to be fixed, and we were like, scratch it off the list. It was already on a long-term plan. So while we know, I think the long-term plan came in at around 93 million. It would have definitely had an increase, so we adjusted for that. We do know that there's things we have to continue to work on next year.
Absolutely, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor, I appreciate it. Dr. Toll, I want to thank you, and Liz, thank you for coming in tonight. In 15 years, amazing. You, and being here in this school, you are definitely a link to the past. I congratulate you. And Dr. Toll, I've watched your rise in the Lincoln County School District, and I'm so grateful that you're here. Thank you for your good work, and it's a tremendous responsibility that you have. I'm so glad you're here tonight because I've had many questions about the Lincoln County School District. Just to give you an example of some of them, I wanted to see the school report card. I'm interested in board meetings and minutes. And just, to avail myself to as much information as I can get about the school district. Is your website up to speed on all of these things? If I went there, could I access all of that information?
You should be able to, and if you want, I can email you the link.
I can see the budget and everything, it's all up. Thank you, I'll do that.
Yes, when was the date of that last bond measure?
2011. And just moved here.
And it passed with 59%. Yeah,
I remember.
it passed. That was a
So they asked us to do a resolution this evening, and it's a resolution number 577-25, a resolution in support of the Lincoln County School District bond levy measure on the May 2025 ballot. I'll just read this real
Do
quick.
we do that now or later on?
Do we do that now?
We didn't do it as an action item, so you can do it now, but you can also add it as an action item. We didn't know until the last minute that we wanted a resolution, but it won't hurt anything to do it now.
Is that okay?
Mayor, I move that we adopt this resolution after your reading
Oh, okay.
of the resolution.
Okay. Whereas the Lincoln County School District provides essential educational services to the students and families of Depoe Bay and the surrounding communities, and whereas quality education is fundamental to the well-being of our community, the future success of our students, and the economic vitality of our region, and whereas the Lincoln County School District Board of Directors unanimously approved Resolution 2-24-25-2 on February 11th, 2025, to seek a bond of $73.3 million to finance capital costs, and whereas the proposed bond will provide critical funding for necessary school facility improvements, including safety and security upgrades, infrastructure repairs, and modernized learning environments, and Whereas these improvements will enhance student learning, create safer school environments, and support long-term sustainability for school facilities serving Depot Bay residents. And whereas investments in education through the passage of this bond measure will benefit the entire community of Depot Bay by ensuring schools that support our community remain well-maintained, safe, and equipped to meet the needs of the students now and in the future. And whereas the city of Depot Bay recognizes the importance of supporting educational opportunities and safe learning environments for all children. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the City Council of Depot Bay hereby expresses its support for the Lincoln County School District bond levy and encourages residents of Depot Bay to vote yes in the upcoming election to invest in the future of our schools, students, and communities. It's been moved to accept this resolution as read into the record. Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept resolution number 567-25 as presented. Is there discussion on the motion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, well, you
That
got
didn't cost
people
anybody
getting-
at all.
Thank you very much.
If you email me what your findings is there, let me know, because it should all be up there.
Thank you
Our
very much.
meetings are all posted.
Oh, great transparency.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Okay, we did receive in our second page our sheriff report deputy. You wanna come up?
Is that there in yours?
Right now. How are you doing?
Doing well, how are you?
Good, I'm doing well, thank you. And I personally did not have a chance to go through didn't you? But how's things going? Leslie,
I will say with this report that we generated, the amount of work that's gone into the last month and a half is not reflected
yeah,
in what is on paper. I will just say that.
Okay.
So it looks like it's light. Take that at face value. As we all know, the sheriff's office has been very, very busy here recently. And right now, it kind of feels like we're in that refractory period of kind of coming back out at the moment. Everyone has been very tired. Our command staff, our sergeants, lieutenants, the sheriff, they put in a lot of hard work on that search. I didn't really have a direct impact on the search. I was more doing stuff in Depot Bay and the county. But those guys, they were working day in and day out there for the duration of that search. And I got to get a little peek of, search plans and everything, and it's just incredible to see what goes, unfortunate circumstances. But just to see a map of what goes into their search plans is
and the
incredible.
community response was overwhelming.
I did make it out there one of the earlier days, and apparently it was a lighter day, but there were still, I believe, hundreds of people out there, so, the response was massive.
Wasn't there a local angle on this, Mayor?
Yes, the owners, on the charitable
Yes,
restaurant.
that's,
Parents of the child.
sorry,
Were they parents of the child?
yes. Yeah, so yeah, not much to report, just within Depot Bay. I mean, I know it's just when these things happen, I know it's appreciated by everyone who is above me that I can get pulled to do other things when I need to, and in these instances.
Sure.
Still trying to work around here as much as I can, but also lending a hand to the rest of the county when and where we're needed.
Understood.
I will say it was nice that I was in the area. One of the things that I did get to participate in was contacting the original suspect car. Because I was driving through Depot Bay, and there was a tip that the
Oh,
car
my
was
goodness.
at Rocky Creek, and I went out and I interviewed the guy, and then the FBI came out and did their much more thorough interview. But like I said, it's nice that I was close to that area and I was able to get out there as soon as I heard about it, so. That's kind of the more impact I had on the search, was hoping to find.
Interesting.
I have a question. Sure. It has to do with Bay Street. We have a stop sign right across the street from the community hall and the Coast Guard station. And it's really violated a lot.
It is. I know that because I've sat down there and I've watched.
And what happens is people hurtle through that and they hurtle up the street.
Mhm.
And my question is, can we benefit by putting a speed limit on Bay Street of like 15 miles an hour if you turn up and over? We've had an accident up there recently. Would
I
that
don't
be
know, I
effective?
mean, this is my personal opinion, this is not professional by any means, but I don't know that speeding is gonna affect that.
But you could issue tickets then for speed
It's-
violations.
Yeah, yes, that's true anywhere, but as far as the actual stopping right there, I don't know that lowering the speed limit would necessarily have the impact because it's not really a speed issue, it's the fact that you can make it 5 miles an hour and people would still roll right to that stop sign.
Well, I'm concerned about the turn up there where people come out and there's a place where it's a blind corner, you
Yeah.
know? And it's just an accident waiting to happen, is my
Mhm.
feeling, and I'm a violator of that.
You're not the only one, I've sat down there and I think, like I said, I can't sit down there every day, but I do try and make it down there so often. To say hi to the locals, and I think one of the days that I did it, I was up to like 13 out of the 16 people who crossed through there didn't stop, and they were stopped.
When they got a warning.
Yeah.
Well, I think we should issue some tickets, that's my personal opinion, some citations, and open some eyes.
There's some philosophy that goes into it, but yeah, at some point, yes, that is what does happen.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
So you're in the process of moving across the street from here? is that-
Yes, so we do still have the office here, there are things I can access here that I cannot access there yet, so I'm kind of back and forth. But it is nice because I got a bird's view of the highway right now. We're kind of working on a campaign of just watching whoever.
Yeah.
And then if we think that they are speeding just based off of vision, we're calling in companies right now and we're ratting them out, so.
And then I've seen 2 of your vehicles lately, do you have training somebody, or I've seen 2 of
No,
your-
so Sergeant Vale has been spending a little more time down here, just in the office getting used to things and just.
More the merrier.
Yeah, absolutely.
There was 3 911 calls a week day. Are you able to tell us the nature of those calls? Do you remember?
I don't off the top of my head without looking at them or seeing.
Are they
What-
usually like medical related or?
A lot of the times, yes. Well, we will get for law enforcement, and there are medical calls as well, but 911 hangups, I'm not sure if that's what you're kind of talking about.
Well, they're just 3 things. One said death investigation. One said traffic assist, traffic hazard.
Yeah, so that might just be how the call is coming in, because sometimes people call on 911, and then sometimes people call on non-emergency.
Okay.
And it can go either way, sometimes people who are calling on 911 should be calling on emergency, and then people who are calling on emergency should be calling 911.
The other one was attempt to locate.
Okay, yeah, so like an attempt to locate for a 911 call, more likely than not, again, without looking at it, probably some kind of driving complaint, where someone's like, oh, this person's driving so poorly that I need to get a hold of 911 right now to get this driver off the road or let law enforcement know that they might be impaired.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions tonight? All righty, thank you.
I think.
Appreciate your being here. Okay, we'll move on to our commission and committee reports. Joyce, do you want to bring us up to date on our activities?
Joyce King, Emergency Preparedness Committee, and we get this post, because I don't talk very loud. A lot of things are going on. We did receive the 10 barrels, and we put locks on them. We're going to start the inventory of them tomorrow, and make sure we got everything that we requested and paid for. So we're excited about that. We're going to be introducing the barrel program on the 22nd of March, which will be the emergency preparedness community event, and it's going to start at 10 o'clock. And not sure how long it'll last, but we have some really good speakers. We have Samantha Buckley with the county, Laura Gable with Gagami. And if people are not familiar with Gagami, they're the people that have this wonderful map, and they recently, they've recently added a few things to it. But they're going to talk to us a lot about the hazards, and it's a little bit different take than what Samantha usually does. They're going to talk about geological issues as to really what we're facing here on the coast. Laura's going to try to get a core sample, which will be showing when the tsunami in 1700 hit and how far down it went and how much it affected us. And she's going to do that and just give us a really good speech. We also are expecting Felicia Almeida, what's her last name? That's the hardest part of it. Schultz, and she's with the Oregon Sea Grant, and they go hand in hand a lot together. And they go to meetings together, and they talk about basically the same thing. And Felicia's specialty is how erosion affects where we live. So that should be an interesting speech for her. So please come. We're going to have hot dogs, hamburgers, you know, the wonderful events that we have. We're going to have wonderful door prizes. We have some from the city and the, I believe it's the Sheriff's Department, I believe, Kathy, is that correct?
It's the Red Cross
Red
coming
Cross,
with,
The fire, smoke alarm?
311. Yeah,
Okay.
okay, yeah.
So we're gonna have some really good, giveaways. So it's gonna be eventful. I think that it'll be very educational for the people that are coming. And, we're looking at the possibility of having some other, events. We'd like to have at least 2 a year. And we're, considering having an emergency evacuation event. We've gotten some information from Depoe as to how to have such an event. And we also received some information from the Oregon Emergency Management and also the University of Oregon. So we have a lot of information about that. So that should be, we're targeting October 17th, which is the same day as the shakeout. So it's in the infancy, scheduling, figuring it out, but we'll be letting you know more about how that's coming along. So please come on Saturday, it should be fun. And
What date is that again? Saturday, what
This coming Saturday.
at the community center,
time?
and make sure people drive safely around that area.
Hurtling down Bay Street.
Yeah.
Emergency event.
Okay. Any questions? Okay, we look forward to seeing you guys.
Thank you, Joyce.
Thank you.
Liz, did you have anything on the harbor?
Just one thing, we don't, the Harbor Commission won't have a meeting until next week. So,
Oh, okay.
just, I know that we're gonna be addressing some things later on. Just like to say that the Harbor Commission would like to have some input as a committee in it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Planning, I don't see planning. Parks, you're not here for parks, you're here for salmon tonight?
No parks, you do parks also,
Oh, you wanna do parks? Okay,
if you want me to.
sure, come on up. This Ken serves on our Parks and Rec Committee.
You want me to come up?
Sure, yes, come on up.
Get up there. Actually, we're moving along pretty well on our crab feed. Tomorrow we have a meeting, and anybody have any questions on how we're doing with it? I think we're doing pretty good. We've got good volunteers and things seem to be running very smoothly.
When is this gonna be again?
Say again?
When is
April
this gonna
19th.
be? April 19th, thank you.
Thank you. Do you want to just stay here and do salmon as well? How's our little
Salmon,
small doing? What do you call
say again, small,
them? Fries.
fries, small.
Are they fries? What are they?
They've got all kinds of different names. They're about, a little over an inch long now. We've had a good, survival rate. Things are looking quite well, I think.
Good.
So, and they're out of the pens or the cribs, we call them. They're almost to the reservoir now, so
Wonderful.
we're about 1 more week away from from that. And so, yeah, I think that that's really running pretty smooth also.
Good.
I've got good news on both committees.
Good.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Ken. Thanks for coming.
I'll see you tomorrow at 8.
Are there any public comments at this time for,
Fifteen good.
Items not on the agenda.
Items not on the agenda.
yeah. Okay. We have an OLCC application for the crab feed from Clary Grant. I think you all got a copy of that. Is there a motion to accept this application?
Accept the application.
Can we confirm that to say approve?
Excuse me?
Can we say approve instead of accept?
Yes,
Thank you.
Okay,
I will approve the application for
to the liquor license.
liquor license, special liquor
Thank you.
license.
Yes, yes. It's been seconded. Any motion, any discussion on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Alrighty, thank you.
Council Harmon said aye as well.
Did she, oh,
I forgot to tell you, she has been responding on to Zoom.
oh, okay, thank you. Okay, next we have a resolution 575-25. Has everyone had a chance to review this? And Councilor Rick, do you want to address some issues on here?
Yes, please. I wrote a memo to you, and I'll read it so people in the audience might benefit. So the city council is responsible for sound fiscal management, generally. Right now, despite the harbor mortgage fees and miscellaneous charges, we still run last year was an $85,000 deficit that needs to be filled. And right now, we're filling it from the general fund. This money comes now from transient lodging fees. So there's an equity issue here. The only people paying for the harbor right now are those people that stay overnight in lodging, and they might not use the harbor. So I believe the harbor needs to pay for itself and would ideally pay enough so we could have a rainy day fund. For example, right now, Dock 1 needs all fiber gratings, the tops, fiber, I don't know what they're called, but the gratings on the top have been all ruined, and the harbor master is getting an estimate, but I can't imagine it would be anything less than 20,000, probably more. So we need a rainy day fund in addition to just the deficit that the harbor usually runs. So I wanted to let you know, I know it's controversial, but I really wanted you to know, it just didn't come out of like nothing, that when I suggested the crab storage fee for each Class C vessel of $1,000 a month or $7,000 for the year, for the 7 months that the crab pots are to be on the docks. So right now, the city currently has 13 Class C vessels that are on slips. And I think 2 more people are waiting slips of that size, though I don't know who they are, if they'll need crab pot storage. So this is how I did my calculations. Each crab pot that is used is charged by the charter companies $30 or $35. So let's say it's an average of $33 per crab pot. And each Class C vessel gets 10 crab pots. So $33 per crab pot times 30 days a month of use is about $10,000 per month is what the crab pots are bringing in to the charter businesses each boat. Since crab pot storage is so valuable and convenient to the vessels, and the charter fleet can come up with an alternative to storing crab pots somewhere else than on our docks, it doesn't seem unreasonable to me that the charter fleet couldn't help pay for harbor operations. So $1,000 a month is the equivalent of what one of the crab pots would bring in. So so what that would bring in, there are 13 Class C vessels, and assuming they all crab and use their full allotment of pots, 13 vessels times 1,000 per month times 7 months would generate 91,000 per year for the harbor. So last year we ran an $85,000 deficit and for a rainy day fund, so that would fully cover the cost that the harbor is causing the city. So if there was a harbor user fee, which tourists pay, and which can be crafted so it's legal, and apparently various ways of doing that, we might not need it, or not need as much. Or if the mortgage rates were increased substantially, it would have to be quite substantially from where they are now to make up that deficit. Or if the city didn't have to spend so much time, for example, fueling or providing fuel, the monthly amount could be reduced accordingly. But this is a place to start, because I don't know how else we're gonna make up the deficit unless we do a harbor user fee, which people do seem to like. Having a set fee per month, the harbor master wouldn't have to go and count pots. And the mortgage fees that we could raise, but it would still have to be raised so substantially to cover some of the costs, so it would come out some way. So I just wanted to say that, because I know there's a lot of angst and upset, but to me, it's not unreasonable. And I just would ask if people are gonna testify that they help us solve this problem and not just say, we can't do it or it's too much. I just want to know how we're gonna make up this $85,000 deficit each year. So thank you for listening.
Thank you. Liz, do you want to address this from the Harbor Commission portion now?
I don't.
Okay.
We have not met, and
Okay.
I can't speak for them.
The
I
Harbor
think there's
Commission-
people here that, we just want to be given an opportunity to look at what we think what might be a good way to cost this out.
I totally agree, and I thought maybe you'd been working on that. No.
We were working on the last issue, was putting the pots on the dock, and we only have a meeting once a month, so.
Right.
We will definitely would like to have the opportunity to work with this and make it, I'd really like to work with the people that it's affecting,
Yes. Yeah.
because I think that's the only way that.
I think you should come to the table.
Okay. I just think if we can get together as a subcommittee and work together on this would be a really good idea. I'm listening to what you said, Fran, but I really think input from the boat owners down there is pertinent to make this workable for everybody. So that was something that, we can definitely put on the agenda for next week. We meet next Wednesday.
Okay, so you mean, because going into the budget cycle.
Yeah,
hopefully
we
we'll
understand that
help
this is.
bring us down to where we can balance.
Yeah,
That's
and,
all we ask.
yeah, no, and I think that's
Yeah.
fair, and I think we have a lot of people
Yeah.
here that would like to give some input on that level and then report right back to you. Yeah, I definitely understand that, and I appreciate Fran giving the reasoning for it. Now we just like to have input from the Harbor Commission and the people that will be utilizing that space.
Yes, I have one comment to make. One concern is pretty soon spring break will be here, mats are down, pots will come down, we're gonna start charging from the moment pots are headed off. So everybody will be charged. It's the only way we can equitably do this. So whatever you decide, if it takes months to do it, it will be retroactive to whenever the stock's been used. So that's all I want to make sure, it's the only fair, equitable way to do it.
So we'll log it, monitor it,
I'll
whatever.
just have him, or let me know when the
Okay,
process
so
starts.
the boat captains.
We're not gonna log by boat captains, everybody will get charged once the pots hit the dock. We're not gonna be able to go, so-and-so hit his on this dock, so-and-so hit his on this dock. We're gonna say, like, for example, March 22nd, that's spring break, right? That could be our line that says, March 22nd is the day that we start charging, because we can't track when people put their pots on the docks.
Are we discussing this resolution now or here?
We're just gonna take, comments right now.
We're not.
I think no. Did you have a question?
I did, thank you.
Pardon me, if I might interrupt, I thought you wanted to take comments before you had discussion.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
so that was us.
Oh, okay, oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I'll open the floor for comments. You wanna state your name and sign in there for us? Do we have a pen here?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
All right, I'm Chris Schaffner. I'm the owner, captain of the Outer Limits. And I just wanted to help clarify a few things here for Ms. Rec, because I watched the work session from March 4th and there were some things on there that kind of bothered me, so I wanted to help educate you. So your quote was, quote, when you think about how much money the charter boats make, you said that in that meeting. So I brought in my profit and loss from 2023, and I just want to go through a few of the expenses with you because for some reason, you guys are all under the misconception that we're the cash cow of Depoe Bay. You know, we work really, really hard down there, and I'm not saying you don't think that, but I want to go over some of this with you so you have a better understanding of what we actually make, because none of us are rich, I promise you that, okay? So last year, or I'm sorry, this is 2023. So my boat payments, $33,650. Labor, $35,730. Insurance, $10,527. License, permits, fees, $5,976. Mortgage, $2,612. Storage unit to store extra gear, $1,578. Baits, tackle, rods, $20,026. Boat improvements, $5,300. Now that just kind of gives you a quick overview of, you know, I'm not gonna share everything because this isn't frankly the place to do that. I don't want my information that public, but we make enough to survive, you know, we do, but we are not rich by any stretch of the imagination. We do not have a lot of extra money. In the charter business, you have good years and you have lean years. In 2022, I had to repower my boat. I lost $60,000 that year. So, you know, this is not a cash cow. That's why when you guys impose these costs and extra costs for us, that's why we always get so upset, because there is not that much margin for us to make money. When you start charging us more and more and more, then it kills our bottom line and we're not making money. That's why we always get so upset. I'm not disputing the fact that the harbor needs to at least break even. I mean, I would be more than willing to help with going over the budget and trying to come up with ideas with everybody and try to come up with a resolution that works for everyone. Charging us $1,000 a month. And the other thing you gotta realize, that $35, we don't get all that. We lose 25% of that. That's what the office takes. So we don't even get all that money. And it's just, that's just gonna kill us. I mean, the fuel is already bad enough. And now we're gonna add this on top of that. I mean, it's just, there's gotta be a better solution. And maybe there isn't, I don't know, but I feel like we should really, really look into this deeply and go over the budget. I mean, where is it? You know, I know you're $85,000 short, but I also remember in that meeting, you talked about $100,000 of maintenance costs that year. And I don't know what year we're even talking about. I couldn't pick up on that on the video, but.
Last year.
But the other thing now that we're not gonna have to do, and Roy's not here, but Brady could probably attest to this, is those guys spend a lot of time moving fingers. We don't do that anymore. Maintenance was $100,000, upkeep, maintenance. If something breaks on one of these brand new docks, that's gonna be pretty hard to believe. I would assume they come with a warranty, right? Well,
Oh, yeah.
maybe, I mean.
You're right.
So right there, you get rid of that $100,000 of, you know, and you're not gonna get rid of all of it, because there's always gonna be something broken that needs fixed and all the hoses and everything else. But I don't think we're that far off. There's gotta be a better solution than the $1,000 a month crab lot storage. And I thought I was under the impression that we were leaving them on the boat unless we were doing a trip that didn't require crab pots, and then we were okay to leave them on the dock, you know, all that's changed, now this $1,000 a month thing's come up, I don't know what's going on anymore. Yes.
So you automatically lose 25% of your crab pot fees?
Yeah, we lose 25% of everything.
So are
That's
they-
what our booking
are
agents
the crab
charge.
pots actually profitable then, or
Well,
not?
absolutely, we run a lot of crab trips, or a lot of people crab, I should say.
Okay.
I mean, that number's, it's around 1,000 people a year that crab, so yes, we make money crabbing, that's why if I didn't make any money crabbing, I wouldn't even care, I just wouldn't crab anymore, because it's a pain in the butt now, but I can't afford to do that either, so, you know, I would just love to come up with something that makes sense for everyone.
Can I ask a question? Sure. How do you feel about a harbor user fee, like a dollar?
Well,
per
yeah,
person?
I'm not opposed to that. None of us want this harbor to fail. This is where we make our money. This is how we support our families. I have 2 kids in college. I have a son in school. I mean, we need this harbor to succeed. None of us want this harbor to fail. And you'd probably be pretty surprised if you sat down and talked to some of us, we could probably help. I mean, this is our life. We ride a financial teeter-totter every year, you know, in this charter world. And the only way to be a millionaire charter boat operator is to be a millionaire before you buy a charter boat. I promise you.
I know that.
I promise.
Yeah.
So anyways, I just wanted to clear the air. I wanted to help you kind of understand, you know, it's not as big of a business as you think. A lot of us just do this because we love to do it. You know, we don't have benefits, we don't have retirement, we don't have any of that stuff. We do this because we were lucky enough, well, most days we're lucky enough to do it. Some days it's tough, but we do this out of passion because we want to, not because we're gonna get rich or, you know, so that's it, that's
So
all.
I have
Oh,
a question.
sorry.
Thanks for coming in. I
Yep.
appreciate being able to hear from y'all face to face. Do you attend the harbor meetings at all?
I don't, no, well, I shouldn't say I don't on a regular basis, but I have been to several harbor meetings, yes.
Because we really want to hear from them, because I
Yes.
completely think that y'all have the solution somewhere
Yeah,
tucked away.
yeah, it's there, we just have to
Yeah,
find
I
it, or
really-
they have,
yeah.
whoever,
I
somebody
would
needs to find
encourage
it.
you to participate.
Okay, well, I heard there's a spot
We
open
have
now,
a-
so maybe that's my
We
call.
did.
Oh, by the way.
Are you guys, do you live here in town?
I do not, I live in town.
Okay, that's another thing that I want to address, is I think we need a spot on the harbor commission for a non-resident.
We do.
We do have one, and it's not already taken. It's taken, so we need a second one.
Well, we can talk about
No, I,
We can look
off topic.
at it later,
Thank you. Okay,
You got it, guys,
thank
thanks.
you for coming in.
Is there any other?
Yeah, Mrs. Brad. And we'll have-
Please do sign in. Thank you.
We have the Blue Max link and the owner operator of Moose Max. So what we were kind of concerned about as well is some of these numbers that don't really seem to be fitting. I did have a few questions on just for even, you were talking about the harbor fees and all of that. What would, if we do this, what percentage would be coming back to the harbor? And what percentage would be going back to the city?
100% we go back to the harbor, we go into the harbor fund.
The harbor fund, so this $1,000 is strictly just for the harbor to go back into that.
Yeah, are we talking two things?
Oh.
Crab pots was 1,000, harbor user fee, which was like a per head.
I did mean the crabs.
Pots, yeah, you did, okay, sorry, I was confused.
I agree with Chris when he's talking about our numbers. There's a lot that really goes out. We did 986 people. That's about 8 months of running. And we made about approximately 30,000 from that. You have 10,000 out, and that's now 20,000 that we get to take home. Take another 25% off of that number. So there isn't a lot of money that is coming from us, and we are, you know,
like I said, the maintenance to these crab pots, the fees, each one is about $150. That's empty, that means no bait in it. If you're to do bait, that's $40 to $50 per day. So it really starts adding up in these fees. One of the things as well is, you know, we are a small business. We're not a big business, we're not trade winds, we're not dockside, we're just a small mom and pop business. So when these things are hitting all of us, it really does have a big impact. You're kind of looking at us as a whole instead of individuals. And I'm a little curious as to why such a difference as far as the small boats as opposed to the Class C. Both of us carry about the same amount of crab pots. So why is there a difference with how we're being targeted? And that's something I would like for you guys to just consider of, you think that a lot of money is coming from us, but really we are struggling just as much just to keep things kind of keep going. And the bay, this whole town really does work on this harbor and survives off this harbor. So if we're out of business, that really trickle down. And there's just no way that we could afford something like that because it would hit our small business way too hard.
Can I ask the same question that Autumn asked? What do you feel about a harbor user fee? People would pay, the clients would pay.
I think that would be a good thing. The only thing that comes to mind is people that are walking their dogs or just come down to the harbor.
No,
How
I
would
mean
you
the car,
charge?
right, people that go out on boats would be.
Oh, okay, so just about, yeah, and something like that, we would all be agreeable. I agree to where we probably do have the solutions if we were more involved, instead of having these things kind of be made for us. You know, it's one of those things of there is a lot of money to be made in the city all in general. And so if we just work together, then we can all work together and keep working.
Yes, absolutely, I totally agree. And the next Harbor Commission meeting is next Wednesday at 6 o'clock. And this is what we need, is we need this input, and it's critical. Because you're right, the harbor is our main, yeah, our main source of income coming into the city, and it's a huge benefit to us, so we realize that. And so this is, I would recommend that you attend and be part of the solution.
And we appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to us as well.
Absolutely, that's what we're here for. Absolutely. Are there any other comments this evening? Okay.
I don't also see anybody online.
Okay. Nobody else has their little hands up? No. Okay. So at this time, we do need to pass the rest of this resolution. I would recommend that we remand this crab pot fee to the Harbor Commission for further discussion.
Yes. Everything but the crab pot storage fee remains in effect if you don't adopt this, because we didn't change anything.
Right.
That was already adopted through resolution 543-23. The only change is the addition of the crab pots. I just combined everything together to get it all in one resolution instead of having it piecemeal.
So we don't need to pass this resolution?
No.
Okay.
But I had a question.
Yes.
On that, I don't have, right in front of me, but the one about the city-owned equipment, 40 an hour, that seemed really low to me.
It's in the current 543-23.
Right.
So if you wanna change it, should pull the
Well, we're gonna
crab.
have to change the resolution anyway to
Yeah.
have the crab pot,
So we
can
can
look at
have the entire fee schedule be reviewed by the Harbor Commission.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that seems really low to me, to use our equipment, it wouldn't even pay if something, got broken. So, anyway, somebody could look at that.
Mayor, I have a comment.
Yes.
Thank you. Thanks for coming. What I heard tonight were operators that said that they were not opposed to a harbor use fee. I'm glad to hear that. I think Councilor Watson nailed it, that a harbor use fee would be a good thing, a good direction to go. The problem with the harbor use fee has been that, and this was came from the Harbor Commission, that it had to be coupled to a food and beverage tax. In other words, if you're gonna come in and you're gonna pass a fee on harbor use, then we have to have a fee on beverage and food. That's how it was presented. And it became politically impossible to do that. I think if you can deconnect those two things, because they have nothing to do with each other. Knowing that the skippers, the boat owners, the actual business people would be in favor of this, I think we should look at that instead of going any other direction.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments?
Are we discussing the crab pot storage rates right now, or is that?
No, we're gonna remand that back to the Harbor Commission for their meeting, and they'll have something for us on April 1st.
And please understand though, we have to put a line, so March 22nd will be our start date,
Whatever day is the first.
which we're just saying spring break.
Okay.
Cause that's when everybody we wanted to get everything ready to go.
We'll do retro wrap. Okay, so we'll move on to the capital improvements purchase of the asphalt trailer. Is that, that was on our second, isn't it?
For second.
It's on the second, yeah. So Brady, do you wanna bring us up to
Yeah.
date on that? That would
So-
be great.
We got a really good municipal cost on the trailer. We got other prices too for like 3 others. It's something that is so hard to get, asphalt. It can rejuvenate old asphalt, pieces, and we can, keep it longer when we purchase it from Newport, from Road and Driveway, and do our own street patching and crossings. We can't like overlay streets with the unit, but it's gonna pay for itself in potholes alone. We get bills for like $10,000, $14,000 just to do potholes through town because of the cost of driving back and forth.
Sure.
So it's kind of new technology like the back trailer is, but this is something that you see a lot of municipalities utilizing. And Paul was able to really get a really good deal on one, so.
Good. Is it with
Paul is an amazing negotiator, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Is it within the budget of our equipment purchases?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
It wasn't specifically budgeted for, but as I noted in the report, we can spread out the cost of it between the various funds in the equipment and cover it just fine.
Streets, harbor, wastewater, water, park. So again, that's another harbor.
Yeah.
Cost.
Yeah, but-
Okay, so
Is there a motion to accept the?
I move to accept the capital improvement purchase of $32,817.50 for a hot asphalt trailer.
I second. It's been moved and seconded to purchase this asphalt trailer as mentioned. Is there any discussion on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
She was an aye as well.
She and I, okay, we got it. We have the engineering agreement. Kim, do you wanna bring us up to date on that?
Just nothing in addition to what I put in the staff report, except that we're expired.
Okay. So everybody's had a chance to read this over?
I had a question, Mayor, on
Sure.
this, as long as we were talking about this. I went over the payments to ATS and our current payouts, and it was in the area of about $60,000 to $70,000. Are we getting any of this back in terms of fees to, like on planning fees?
Plan review fees, yes. So they provide a deposit, if you will, an estimated fees, and we don't work from that, but that covers a portion of that planning stuff in there. But now that we have our city planner on board, we expect the planning fees to go down.
So I see on this page, one page that you brought in, city should be seeking reimbursement from developer / applicant on the hills of Depoe Bay. Something like, it looks like about $40,000 here. Who handles the billing on this
Carla does.
reimbursement?
Carla does. Once she gets once the project is to finalize, that's when they generally do a bill.
Okay, so this will be happening here?
Yes, so what they do is they track this information, I give them a copy of any plan review, anything that has to do with specific plan review within the criteria by the code. And then at the end of this project, or at a certain point, like we're talking phases with the hills, Carla will create a bill. And whatever is in excess of what the deposit was, if you will, then they get charged.
Can I ask?
Yes,
So, I'm not saying the Hills or any other big developer, but what is our leverage if somebody doesn't pay because they haven't paid that deposit up front? Do we have a way to, like, hold out the occupancy permit, or what happens if people don't pay?
Well, people generally pay, generally by the time they pay, I don't even know if Carlos had to actually chase anybody down. We would have the same availability to us to lien or go after them in a small claims court, because generally the billing isn't billed either, if it's a small thing, it's billed after the project is done. We do not issue certificates of occupancy. That's something that I want us to do. We don't do that. So we don't often know when it's done, but that's billing permits. But other bigger things, there is, now I have to double check with Carmen, and I know she's not on this one to find out exactly at what point, like with the big project, she does bill.
Thank you.
Okay, alrighty. Is there a motion to accept our First Amendment?
Why is it called First Amendment?
Because it's amending the original agreement.
I'll make a motion to approve the First Amendment to the city engineer agreement.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the amendment number 1, agreement with AKS Engineering as presented. Is there discussion on the motion?
I just want to say, I really appreciate their work, and I know you do too.
Very much so.
Huge.
Very much so. I know Brady does too, right, Brady?
Yes.
In fact, he's been using them a lot lately on New Collins, haven't you?
Yes. Okay, any other comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Alrighty, thank you. Okay, we've got Premier Property Management, that was also on the second.
And just to remind, we are still keeping retainage on this because the project is not closed. John will be here Friday and he'll do another walkthrough and see how they did. Probably walk through Brady and see how they did, and I think there's a few minor pieces to do, but the project isn't done. We haven't released all the funds, it's just getting them kind of caught up a little bit.
Okay, so I need a motion then to accept.
Yeah, could you tell me the page number?
Page number of the second packet.
18.
18.
Oh, thank you, dear.
18.
So it's $131,798.25. Is that the amount? Okay. So
Yeah,
is
so the
there-
closer we get to getting this project closed, the sooner I can request funding for.
So do you need a motion to pay that amount?
Yes, you do.
I move that we pay the Southeast Bay Street Sidewalk Improvements Project in the amount of $131,798.
And 25 cents, thank you.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to reimburse the amount of $131,798.25 to the contractor for the Bay Street project. Is there discussion on the motion?
I sure like that job, Mary. I've seen it, it's beautiful.
It turned out, it's turning out. It's better. We've had some of those. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Councilmember Hopkins and I.
Okay, we got it.
I have a question.
Yes.
So separate from this project, the city is gonna install the restroom next to the parking lot, or is that part of what these people do as well?
No, we're going for a grant for that, it's a separate, that's not part of the project.
Yeah, it's a separate.
It's a separate grant that I'm working on.
I thought we already had one in storage waiting to go there. Is that?
That's for the harbor. Yeah, this is the one that, Brady can probably explain it more, but the one that they're looking for that one is a more sturdy, it's not a modular one, it's actually a set building.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think that's the one
okay.
where they're designing the hose down, right?
Yeah.
So they're designing to just go in with the hose and hose it down, to get it out, so.
Question here on that, if, since you bring it up, you mentioned these restrooms in storage the last time. What's the plan here? Are we gonna keep with the Robinson contract, or is that ending, or what's going on?
Right now, that's one of the things we have to, I still have to talk about, make sure everything turns. But the ultimate idea is to not be in the business of leasing restrooms, but we're back to it.
Any other comments or discussion? Okay, we've got an internal controls policy. Do you want to bring us up to date on that?
So that's a policy that has run through various different auditors. It was what was used in my last job, and it ran through their auditors. It was looked at by our previous auditor. It was looked at by an attorney. So it's been vetted, and it's just generally designed to talk about the things that Council Rec has indicated that she has desired, is who signs and who reviews and how that goes on that. I did make a few amendments because with Jenny on board, we changed a few things, but there will be more policies to follow that further tighten this, but this gets us in a good place right now. The auditors will be very happy with.
Thank you so much for getting this done.
Appreciate it. Okay, there's a resolution 576-25, a resolution of the City of Depoe Bay adopting policy and procedures for internal controls. Is there a motion to accept this resolution as presented?
So
Awesome. It's been moved and seconded to approve a resolution of the City of Depoe Bay, Oregon, adopting policy and procedures for internal controls. Is there discussion on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
And I would like to let you know that I have been working on these. I do have some other policies that will come to you. Writes off of accounts receivable, accounts payable, some financial banking, that sort of stuff. There are a bunch of them that are in draft. It's just they have taken a back seat sometimes.
this is a good start.
Yeah, and most of this is being followed already.
Oh, no, yeah, absolutely. It just documents it.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. Okay, we've got resignation from the Harbor Commission. Is there a motion to accept this letter of resignation as submitted?
I'll move that.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the resignation of Dan Zimmerman from the Harbor Commission. Is there any discussion on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you.
And yes, Council Harmon is continuing to vote aye. I will let you know if she.
Okay, good. Thank you, Counselor. Okay, we've got staff reports. Ongoing. And I hope you saw the pictures of what they did down at the community center. That turned out beautiful.
That was lovely, doesn't it?
Yeah,
So.
Get a chance to go down there and see it.
Utilizing
Really,
that mini excavator.
I really was.
What did they do?
Yeah.
You wanna see?
Yeah.
They did a really
fix the retaining wall, so there's someone down into the creek.
On the page, on the-
Freddie, you wanna fill us in what's going up there on Collins Avenue?
Sure, so this,
Six 74.
this week we tied into Ainsley Avenue.
Yeah.
Folks were out of water at the top of Ainsley, but they just had low pressure, some of them were out. Today, they're tying meters in, now the new line is the coliform test passed, we did 2 of them. So it's disinfected and it's blown off, so the chlorine residual is way down. Let's see, today was meter installs, new boxes. Tomorrow, so that would be Wednesday, is more of the time, they're gonna do Keene Avenue, and then Thursday, we're gonna tie in Spring, which is View of the Bay.
Right.
And then the big tie-in is going to be, there's 2 more, there's gonna be Davenport, and then Williams Avenue, and when we do Williams Avenue in Collins, they may have to close the street for a couple hours, but we're gonna try to do it without closing the street. And, well, this is S&W, the company that's doing it. The water may be at very low pressure from 9 a.m. till, we're hoping noon. Unless it goes really well, it'll be before noon, but
I have
a
a
lot
flyer
of
that's
it-
going out.
if there's a fire going on, it's gonna let the town know
It's
they're
gonna
gonna.
affect everybody south of Collins.
South of Collins will be
Everybody,
affected.
so,
How's this flyer going?
Yes, how the fires going.
I'm gonna, it's been posted at the post office already, no. Yeah, she posted it today, it's gonna go on Facebook, on the website.
And
And I
reader
passed it out to you guys today, there's a bunch of copies in there, there's a bunch of copies around, so we're gonna spread the word, and then the guys are gonna have to, we've already notified, Via the Bay, because there's a sooner, so I'll notify all the HOAs as well.
Yeah,
You
I
said
know,
reader board?
yeah, I have reader boards too, we have 3 of them.
They're not reader boards,
Well,
they're A-frame sandwich boards.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
you put words
not
on.
electronic or anything,
Yeah.
but they will.
He did
they'll
the
have
same thing, I was
hours on it.
like, we have a reader board, and I didn't know that. I'm like, what?
The same one we had out there was.
Yeah, it's the same,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
the same board design.
Thank you so much, both of you, for
It's gonna be a big transition, that water main was put in 1961, so that, I figured that's like, what, 50
Yeah.
or 60 years old.
By the way,
62 years old.
Yeah.
So when you say we're putting new meters in, are they smart meters?
Yes, oh yeah, all the meters that we install now are AMR, automatic meter readers, and then the radios will actually go, as they drive around, they'll upload, which is gonna save staff time during meter reading, we may,
Means they don't get
Golf cart.
golf cart. But we're keeping up with everybody else, and we're meeting our neighbors like Lenny, Seal Rock, Newport, like I
Did we
said.
seek grant funding for the smart meters? Oh, worry about that again. From OHA, Oregon Health Authority, grants, I know Oregon Health
Grant
Authority is
funding.
handing out all
We're
kinds of.
actually paying for the water user fees, it's coming out of our budget, we haven't asked for any grant money on that. We're not doing the massive undertaking, they're just piecemeal, but the ones that they did now were part of Collins project.
Yeah.
Those flaggers.
We're making,
They're
yeah.
They're doing a good job,
Yeah.
But we're upsetting some folks, but you gotta break a few eggs to make an omelet, so this is gonna be nice when it's done.
Any other comments this evening or questions?
I do wanna just point out a few things outside the project list, unless you
Yes.
guys wanna talk about the project list more.
No.
So we submitted for that grant, or to have that resurfaced.
Oh, that was
Yeah, I just wanna make sure that you guys saw that we did that.
was-
yeah.
Right.
You saw, wanna make sure you guys saw that we have claim. The reason I included the legal Oregon City stuff is for a very specific reason. We are so behind the 8 ball in doing anything legislative related. I don't have the time to do it. I've attended as much as I could. Now that we have Green on board, some of these house bills that are what they're calling shop bills can have very seriously negative impacts to legal-based planning and land use. All these design standards we talk about wanting, they may not even allow them. So the reasons that I asked Creed to look into this, and because the question is, where do we even begin? We don't know, because we have had nobody really following this. So he's gonna put some stuff together on this and first talk to the planning commission, but I said, we've got to know what this is gonna look like for our city, how it's gonna affect everything, because the way the governor's rolling right now, they're going to remove a lot of barriers that we currently call planning and land use in Depoe Bay to putting these places in. So timelines, removing setbacks and all of this stuff. So I put this in here because I wanted you to see what the league was doing. The league is doing this because these are the opposition things that they've heard from other cities. We have not had a voice in this, but I feel like it was good for you to know. I attend, like I said, but I do the best I can to keep up on all this. Okay, there's a lot going on in this one.
Yeah, please. So I'm concerned that with, everything's moving very quickly now. So, if we wait for the planning commission to make a recommendation, it's too late.
That's why I gave you the letters. You guys, I figured that somebody at some point would tell me, this is the action we want you to take on
Well, I
this.
think we should give, you direction to go ahead and send in letters saying that, you know, we have standards that we'd like for design and setbacks and all the stuff that mentioned, that we would like to have upheld. This will, not let us have any, say in the planning process, if it's inappropriate, whatever, I mean.
Well, that's what a lot of what the
What-
ordinance
yeah.
is, so I guess the direction I'm looking at, we could simply modify these letters to fit Depoe Bay and send them out.
That's what I would suggest. These were good letters.
Yeah.
I don't
Okay.
fully understand the implications of all, but I'm, sort of on board with all the, so yeah, I would, and sooner than later, these things are either getting to hearings and going now or not, so.
And just FYI, TLT, transit lodging tax, with that change of definition, is going to hearing. So I think it's
I sent a
tomorrow,
letter.
Thursday.
I sent a letter. to
I
the
did
position.
send our logo. You should probably let the council know before you send a letter,
Oh, okay.
because it needs to be a council-driven policy, so I wanna make sure.
It went over your name or the council, the mayor,
As my name, yeah, in opposition,
but as a personal or as a mayor?
as in there.
Okay, yeah, we should talk about
Good, I think you would all be in favor of that.
it. So how do we know about it? You're telling us now, what was the letter?
It was just, supporting, LLCs. They just
Their
asked us,
position?
yeah, and it's an entire coastal, caucus that, bands together.
So how do
to
we
oppose these.
yeah, because things are moving fast. How do we, are we always on board with LOC? I mean, how do we approve, the mayor to take those actions? Because I don't, it's
That
kind
would be another meeting directing and deciding with what is there, where your priorities are. In the hot heat of the session, it would require regular updates. Definitely every meeting, sometimes we have to move faster than that, but not that fast. Most of these hearings are on the schedule weeks out,
so with the transient room tax and the housing issue, and, do we share the LOC's, position statements?
Because we haven't had a city planner to know exactly what the impacts will be, we know that the impacts will definitely impact our ability to manage these in a way that we want, as far as setbacks,
No,
sign
I
size.
mean transient
So
room
we,
tax.
transient room tax, that was something that was on your priorities, remember the 5
Yeah.
priorities? So that was on there.
Okay,
So in cases like that, you can always say, we can talk about doing this for the future, that, as long as they seem to support the direction of what you guys want, then the mayor can
yeah,
do that, so we can do that, and
Okay.
going forward
yeah,
on
I
this.
think that would be, just to have some accountability about what we sent letters in a good official letter. And then the other thing, I just note that the recreational immunity seems to be moving forward really well.
Oh, yeah,
But we-
that's,
But that would be another one that I would like to have the city, fully support.
we already did.
Did we?
Oh, yeah, we already did, that was already a while back.
But that
That's
was-
a long time
But,
ago.
but that was a long time ago, before this month, that was during the interim period.
Mhm.
I don't, could we send in a letter to this bill right now?
We could, but it's probably not really gonna be necessary, because they all feel it's gonna pass no
Okay.
problem.
All right,
But trust me, if they didn't say on Friday, the League of Oregon Cities, because That's their meeting on Friday to talk about legislature. They
Okay,
spend an hour, it's a good use of time, and there's so much going on. But they really believe it'll get passed, so they're not concerned about that at all.
Okay.
These house bills for this planning and land use is
Yeah.
what's got me jittery.
okay. Thank you.
So the direction I'm hearing is go ahead and send letters in following the League of Oregon Cities from the city of Depoe Bay that the mayor can sign that says we support the position and we don't want this. Something like that, however they wrote it in there.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Any other questions for Kim Reedy? Are there any closing public comments this evening? I'll move on to council comments. We had talked about doing a tour of facilities and that type of thing for the new counselors and anybody interested. I was looking at a time on April 4th, it's a Friday, and we tour the facility about 10 o'clock and then end up at lunch at the community center afterwards, if that would be good, and then we would have the entire staff there as well.
Oh, yeah.
The voice, yeah,
To-
she talked to the crew,
Okay,
So I'm not gonna be available either.
you're not, okay. Are you available, counselor?
What day is that?
That's a Friday, April 4th?
I think I can, yeah.
Okay,
I think I'd be available.
okay. Do you wanna reschedule? We can do you and Fran at a different time.
I'd be happy to do that.
Yeah.
At a different time, the two of you? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
And anybody else who can't show up.
Yeah.
Thank you.
okay. Okay,
What time is that?
10 o'clock on Friday, meet here at the council chambers and we'll probably do it in 2 different groups.
Okay.
And go tour the sewage treatment plant, our water plant, and go up to our reservoir and check all of that out.
Okay, great.
Council, any other comments this evening? Any other comments?
Good, you go first.
Oh, I emailed Kim about this and talked to Joyce about it, but I've been interested in getting grants for seismically retrofitting some of the city's buildings. I think that's really important. Yeah, I just wanted to say that that's
Go,
been
go,
high
go.
on my mind, yes.
Yeah.
All of us.
Didn't you say you also signed up for the search training?
Oh, yeah, I signed up for the CERT training, which is only $10, and they have classes in Lincoln City and in Baltimore coming up.
Well, it's
Did
in
I
the
send that
community
to
college, it's in the community college, booklet, that we all got in the mail, great.
There's a lot of classes.
Yeah, I was excited about that. Just wanted to ask, when we might get the worksheets for budget ideas?
Oh, shoot, I know you're getting ready to leave. I will go after the meeting and go send them out right
Well,
now.
I'll get emails.
Sure.
Yeah.
If not tonight, definitely tomorrow, I'll make sure that I get them.
Yeah, that's.
Because they're ready, I just.
Oh, radio, we don't think.
Kim, this is a part of the meeting, but is anybody interested in going on the solid waste tour?
Yes, I've got to go to work.
Can anybody want to? Sure. Then I will sign up too.
Okay.
My people
Okay.
yeah.
That's a field trip.
I bet I have field trips.
That should be
Right,
nice.
Councilor Mormon.